be there for those that need you, be there for yourself when you can, and just accept that we're all a bit broken and it's fine.
So welcome to another episode, and today I am here with Hayden Hewitt. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. It's not far from home. It's okay.
It's not. And this conversation is all about growing confidence through conversations. So I think it would be really useful for our viewers to know a little bit about you.
Okay.
Those who don't already.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your backstory, paying particular attention to LiveLeak and the new endeavour of directing. I think that's the important part.
Backstory. Okay. Well, I'm Hayden Hewitt. I'm a film director and writer and other things. History with film. When I was 13 years old, I went to my father and I said, I want to be a special makeup effects artist. And my father, complicated man, like many others, but he just said, what do you need? So that was it. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make monsters for films. I wanted to be in film because I've always loved film. And I did some theatre stuff, did some charity things, then did stuff for a couple of TV pilots. At one time, a producer, I'm going back a long way here because I'm very old, came round to my house, dropped off a skull, and said, I need flesh on that for tomorrow. So the next day he came back for his skull with flesh on, and then I got a film. I went away and made a film called Dark Waters in Ukraine with the film director Mariano Beno, who has got a new film coming out. I don't know a huge amount about the story, but it will look amazing. He's Italian, very Italian, and his cinema is as well. That went kind of badly. I left under a dark cloud, came home, thought I'm done with this. I was too young, too much responsibility.
What do you mean badly?
I just did the communication problems, and we're getting towards the end of the shoot. Some stuff was going on at home, and I had two guys there, and I said, look, I'm going home. And we'd done the bulk of stuff. In fact, most of the stuff you see in the film, I had a hand in. And also I put the crew together. I was only 19. It was too much. And there were some things going on. So I went home. They bumped me to additional makeup. And we didn't speak. In fact, we're only just back in touch. But the cool thing is we picked up where we were before it went crap. So that's been nice. That's been really nice because I do really like Mariano. He's the most Italian man I've met in my life. But then I drifted away for years. Crap jobs, just bumming around. Went into music because I took up the guitar at 18. I was teaching by 19, 20 because I just focused. I was doing like 8 hours a day. The quintessential metal kid. Locked in his room that probably smelled of Lynx Africa and desperation and just work. So as I got older, I got work in that field doing demos for guitar companies. And then a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine called Tim Slater, who was a demonstrator for Peavey, but he was always been a writer. And I used to read him when I was younger, and then I got to be friends with him, which was really cool. And then he said, why don't you write? Just write. And I hadn't written for years, anything. I thought, well, there's money in it. And I ended up writing for several guitar mags. I used to drive down to London to pitch for work and just picked up first reviews there, and then people would... And Tim gave me my first couple in his magazine that he was doing. And I was happy. I was cruising. That was a great life. I was getting guitar gear. I was playing guitar. I was, we were married at that point by then. The house was cool. Around 2010, maybe, I bought a DSLR for work. And took pictures, loved it. I thought, I could make a film. So I started talking to some friends of mine that I used to know from back in the day. And it was all talk about making a film. Like most films, it was all talk. But that's where the idea of Cara first started. It was originally called Cara Kills 08, because that was her username on the website that later became Red Room Fans for the film. Different story. She was younger, but it was still a story. It was more about manipulation. It's more like a Hard Candy, but I hadn't seen Hard Candy. But it was more that kind of thing. And, you know, a couple of guys who I still know read the treatment and were mortified because it was pretty brutal. And then one of the guys I was doing it was, can I rewrite your treatment? I said, yeah, of course you can. And he rewrote it. It was terrible. It was awful. It was cheesy. And that's it. It just all went. Fast forward, several years, I've been involved in many failed businesses and things. It was brutal. I went through a really brutal time in my life. And I was just making websites to make money because I'm not bad at it. So if you're not bad at something and you need to make money, it's like, okay, well, I've got to make money. And then I was introduced to Kenny Lee, you know, the other half of Black Octopus. And I just did a couple of websites for him for the comedy character. And then we were talking and then developed, and then some other guy was involved and he suggested, you know, we should make the comedy character's lens Sunset. And kind of things, when I was talking to Ken's a brilliant bloke. I think the world of him, and he's far more creative than he gives himself credit for. Far more. But it became this really surreal, bizarre, grotesque comedy idea. And it's like, no, I really like this. And so then it was like, well, maybe we'll do a film. I was like, yep, okay. You know, and then the other guy suggested TV series. And I thundered in going, under no circumstances are we going to shoot. How can we, that'll take months. And it'll cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds. And it just developed. And, you know, we do still want to make Len. But what happened was literally we came for a meeting and I turned up in town and Ken said, I've been told you've got a horror idea. I was like, yeah. And he says, well, tell me about it. I said, well, you know, about Cara and what I still had up till then, because I really loved the story. And I'll never forget to this day, Ken was there, his wife was there, he just went, well, let's do that then.
Wow.
Let's do that. I'll raise the funds. So we then went and made some short films, just to make sure that I wasn't demented and I could do it. We did Unseen, which is still one of my favourites, about the homeless guy, and Visibility. We did Elbows, which was pretty mental, which was written by Daz, who used to be with us. And then we did Lips, which was written by David Hales, which I kind of rewrote. There was a big fight over that. Not with David, with the producer at the time. Oh, you can't do that. Have to. Then we made Uncle Jack, the short, which is where I met you.
Yes.
We're never going to release it.
No.
It cost an arm and a leg as well, but it's not being released because it's bad. I love it. It was just not being released because we're going to make the feature of it. And if we release the short, everyone will know
What happens in
how
the
it
future?
ends. Yeah, we can't have that. And then it was time, you know, I remember I was still struggling with the script for Cara when we were doing Uncle Jack. I know you weren't aware of it at the time, because I don't ever tell anybody what I'm doing. But remember we took a break. We were filming in the set, you know, in the studio space. And I was in there on my own. So I used to like going in there for my little break. It's like if my wife brought my son some lunch for me, because, you know, she catered the films, I'd go in there. And you had that little bit of normality. I tried to do it with Cara, but it was a lot harder. But a little bit of normality in there. And I remember I was in there on my own one day. And I just thought, oh, it's nice doing a really grown-up film. I feel a bit like a film director now. Grown-up film. And then in the back of my head, it's really weird, just my brain went, what if Cara was grown up? And it changed everything. So I think I had a script 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Got another draft in. I sent you a copy because I wrote a part for you.
Yeah.
And it just that's how I ended up being a filmmaker again. It just I'd love to say it was some like monumental
Moment.
thing over 30 years of striving, but it's just a case of, you know, when opportunities arise, if you keep your head up, you'll find them.
I love that.
Well, what we do, was very conscious when I was in business before, and it went so much catastrophically wrong for many reasons. And you're thinking, how am I going to keep a roof over my family's head? How am I going to do this? I've got nothing. And you're always looking down. And the problem is, it gets to be a way of life. But then you miss everything that goes past you.
Looking down.
So I literally, it was a conscious thing, right, I can't do this. I wasn't a single 18-year-old guy, I was a man with responsibility. So you just pick your head up and it's like, right.
How did you do that? How did you pick your head up?
I had to. I had no choice. I had to provide for my family.
Right, so the leverage was your family.
Yeah, 100%. That's what fires me through every hard time. Otherwise, I'd do what everyone else. I'd wallow in front of a PlayStation. But pick my head up. Right, I've got to go. I've got to find websites. And in a crowded market, it's not the easiest. But who do I know that's in touch with loads of business? One of my friend's an accountant. And I'll undercut everyone. I'll do what I've got to do to start getting money in. And that's what I did with that. Wow. And that's just what you've got. That's life, though.
And I would love to go backwards as well, because you co-founded LiveLeak.
I was one of the co-founders of LiveLeak,
And how did that happen? What was that?
There was a website before LiveLeak called Ogrish, which was a very, very grim site full of carnage and destruction. But the forums were brilliant. And I used to love hanging out in the terrorism war politics forum. Because it was fascinating, and a lot of the people were fascinating. Because it's not like they're a special audience of like lunatics, they're just people. Some are lunatics, some aren't. I would, to this day, hand on heart, say, I've just banged your mic, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
It was far less toxic than social media now. Now, it could be very toxic, but it had a place for that. I think, what was it called? Flame, Lame, Hate was the section. And you knew if you went in there, that's what you went in there for. It was to abuse each other and blah, blah, blah. But that's what it was for. And then you left that section and kept it out the other sections. They had quite strict rules. And I always thought it was cool. I loved the counterculture aspect of it. I loved the fuck you aspect. Got to know the forum staff, got to know the guys behind the site. I heard from a couple of the guys behind Ogrish that, we're bringing some other people who want to go in a slightly different direction and do something new. And I was fine with that. User generated, because that's where the world was going. So the big thing was that we sat and typed, because that's how you used to mix on the internet prior to Zoom and things like that. You sat and typed about what we'd like in a website. So, the money guys out, the coders were involved, and what I primarily dealt with on LiveLeak was I dealt with the community, the infrastructure. So not the physical infrastructure. I wouldn't know where to start. That was huge.
When you say physical infrastructure, what do you mean?
Servers and all those things. That was somebody else's things. It ran on. It was huge. It was massive. And I worked on all the human parts of it, the rules, the community management, the tools that I thought we'd need. And also I was being pushed out front because we need someone to be the public person. And no one wanted to do this. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll do it. I had nothing to lose. I'll do it. It's fine.
So were you the face?
Yeah.
Of LiveLeak?
And imagine what the other faces must have been like if you went with this one. But yeah, I was the only identified part of it. And people make out, oh, you were co-owners. I really wasn't. I was a part of a much larger team. Many things I can't ever talk about because of NDAs and loyalties and things. But yeah, that exploded. Met a lot of interesting people through it. It was through LiveLeak that I met Tom Six, the Human Centipede director, because I interviewed him, and he's actually a really lovely guy. He's a really cool guy. We're not mates, I've not spoken to him for a few months, but we chat occasionally. And I got to meet people like that. I got to go to NATO.
Wow.
I was invited to NATO. They wanted me to debate a general. And they found a few, and when they looked me up, they said, no, I'm not doing it, because they didn't want to be associated with a grubby little. But they found one, General Van Loon, who was Dutch, and he was the southern commander of Afghanistan. So they flew me to Belgium, went to NATO. I always remember the best, you remember the stupidest thing, it took me for lunch there. It was a subsidised restaurant. So it was like the finest. Of course it was, and it was like steak. And I'm sat at this big table, and there's all these people with all medals and, the full hit. And I'm sat there like, I was living in Beswick at the time, and he's saying, I remember the PR or whatever his position was, guy. He said, "Do you know what we need to do, Hayden?" I'm like, what's that, mate? We need to send more guys like you to Afghanistan to see what it's like. And it just slipped out. I went, "Oh, you can get fucked." But then I looked, and the whole table full of this military brass was. I thought, "Oh, I made a boo-boo." But it was okay, and General Van Loon was great, and we actually agreed on most things. I got to do lots of amazing stuff. I got to give a lecture at the Art Museum in Copenhagen.
So there was loads of pluses, but it was quite a controversial.
Oh, it was grueling.
Yeah, and how was that?
Notice that you're attacked constantly by your own members, because it's never what they want, so they have to attack you. People who didn't understand the site and just hated it. People that just hated me. Government organisations, police forces, everything. It was constant. And there was a time where a Dutch politician, Geert Wilders, still going now, big crazy hair, quite anti-Islam. And he made a video called Fitna, which means struggle, I think. And no one would show it. Preemptively, everyone shut him down. So they came to us. So well, let us have a look. I watched it. It was just a shit YouTube video. Yeah, it was anti-Islam, but not to the point of saying we should go out and harm them. Just, it was negative. So we're like, well, it's within the rules. It doesn't mean you agree. It's just within the rules. So we went, all right, yeah, put it on. And I remember half of the Netherlands logged in that night. I was like, oh, right. And then the phones went mental. So I made the call. I was like, right, we're not doing any interviews about this because I'm not going to defend it. The statement is it's within our rules. And
what are the rules?
Well, the rules on LiveLeak were fairly simple. Nothing child abuse, obviously, that got legal like that. Animal abuse, for fun. We actually put up lots of reward money over the years and worked with a lot of it to actually get people arrested for that. And also they wouldn't stay on our site. You couldn't upload things where you were calling for harm to anybody. No pornography. We didn't have porn. And there were common sense rules like that. No doxing. Even if the information's available on other websites, you don't bring it here. If you do, you get banned. Racial slurs, which was an odd one, because that one enraged people. But I was like, look, it's not about the word. It's about the fact that if you allow that word, that's all you see. And there's websites I could point to now where that is the case. I said, that takes over. You can't get advertising. The site dies. And it's like, yeah, but my freedom of speech, I said, it in no way affects your freedom. Can you not describe your point without using a list of 5 words? And so that was a problem as well. And then when Fitna came out, I remember I think it was the Guardian, someone like said, like Hayden Hewitt from East Manchester. Now, no one could get my address, but they tried very hard to lead people to me. And I remember we got a lot of attention from very serious jihadist type people. So I had to move my wife out.
Wow. And
put things in place that if anything happened, she'd be relocated, paid for a year. And it got really serious. It was like, oh, this is properly moody. Quite exciting. Didn't have a kid at the time, but it was like quite exciting. When I knew everyone was safe, it's like, okay, we've pissed off a lot of people. Then we thought we got sort of security out. I think we took it down for 24 hours. Because we had to make sure everyone was safe. And I remember everyone from the right piled on then. You know, you're cowards, you're this. They were just sorting our lives out here. They didn't show it. It was for us to do. We were cowards if we didn't do what they wanted. So I was getting threats from the far right, and it was very exciting. And then we put it back up. And then Geert Wilders people requested it was taken down for a copyright offence because they'd used some media they shouldn't. So it went down again, and that rumbled on for quite a while. But the press were pretty rabid. But I made the call: we're not talking to them. So it's can't defend it. I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to defend the indefensible. This is his opinion. Go talk to him. But we used to do a lot of TV.
So LiveLeak was a place where, a broadcast channel where you could just put your opinions,
Whatever you want
regardless
on
to
there, yeah.
the discrimination or anything like
And
that.
pretty much every major news company had an account. They logged in every day. Everyone I spoke to.
Wow.
Something happened, they went there to see if there was video of it. And I've done I think I've done pretty much every big news organisation in certainly in UK, US, and Canada.
I guess it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because whilst you put this anti-Islamic content online, you're not passing a judgment. But it's interesting because in one way, you're kind of reminding people that this behaviour is in the world and we need to work through that.
That's what people found, I think. I mean, I've never done a study on them because life's too bloody short to worry why people do things. But mostly, it's not even purient interest. It's a fascination with some of the things we as a society used to be far more connected to. I think we used to have a far greater awareness of death and loss and war and the horrors of it, without bewailing how unfair it all was all the time and someone should do something about it. People just knew how to deal. We had more of a connection with the fact that humanity has a very dark side. And I think we've tried to sanitize that so much, particularly the last generation or two, that some people it's just too alarming. But I think, you know, sometimes you have to face the ugliness of life. Now, I'm not suggesting people should go and watch beheading videos and things. If you want to, I'm sure there's plenty still out there, but it's not something anyone should have to watch because you can't take it back out of your head afterwards, which is one of my concerns with social media because that's a much more passive
form of...
Yeah, you're just fed. And I know there's so much of that on there that's just being fed to people. They're not having to go to a specific site anymore and choose to see something that will challenge them. It's just go, there you go. And I find that a little bit more worrying. But I don't control it. So I now make films, so I'll just wash my hands of all of it, yeah.
And how did you deal with that criticism? Like, obviously, you putting content like that up and getting attacked, because I guess some people saw that as you agreeing with it, even though it wasn't the case.
Guilt by association.
Guilt, absolutely.
It's just what it is.
How did you cope with that, though? You know, that danger.
It never bothered me.
You called it exciting.
Yeah, it never bothered me.
Really?
It's like, I remember once my wife was reading my messages, and she was like, "How do you put up with all this abuse?" I was like, the truth is, I don't give a fuck about these people. You know, the ones that are being like that. So their opinion of me, how do I exist to please them? You know, how do I exist to change who I am for them? So if they've got a problem with me, then tough shit. They just live with it. And it's funny, with Cara, you end up doing quite a bit of press. And I was so stressed because the whole time I was waiting for a confrontation. Doesn't happen in the film thing. But I'm that conditioned that when we had like the big premiere at Fright Fest, it was all very weird for me. I don't enjoy the media walls, and I love watching you guys at the media wall. I find that so exciting, you know, because actors are born for it. You know, it's beautiful to see. I didn't like it. No slight to the people that did it. I'm sure they're brilliant. I didn't like it. And I remember I was very weirded out the whole day, and everyone was being dead nice, which was great. But I remember the next morning I woke up and there was a really shitty review of Cara on Letterboxd. I mean, a real stinker. Clearly they had an axe to grind. And the strange thing was I found that so much more comforting because I was back in a place that, right, cool. Okay, now I know where I am again. And it's kind of weird. I need that negativity to feed off.
So if you don't like Hayden, just
Yeah,
send
just
him loads of positivity.
But someone once did say, don't just to blow my own trumpet, the problem with trying to get Hayden's attention is that sometimes you get Hayden's attention. And I'm a monumental dickhead on the internet. So, swings and roundabouts.
And why is that?
It's just fun. It doesn't mean anything.
So
and also, I'm very much of, this is what I believe. And you can argue with me. But these are my beliefs. But what I won't do is be told, you just shh. I won't be told to shush, and just especially when it's like, that's not the nice thing to say. I don't give a fuck. This is what I think. This is what I think. And sometimes it comes across like a stroppy edgelord, and sometimes it doesn't. But I don't worry about that. I just do
that confidence that you've got to express yourself, albeit whether some people think it's a positive or a negative, who knows. But where does that confidence come from?
Don't know, because I didn't have it growing up.
Did you know?
No, I was crippled by shyness most of my life. I think my wife had a lot to do with helping me get past that, to be honest. I remember just little things like I'd be in a music shop and I'd be turning the amp down, and she'd be like, no. And she's very grounded. She's a very grounded person. We don't watch films. She's not into movies like I am. There's a lot of differences, but she's really grounded, and that helped, I think, with some of that. But no, I was never. Then I wore a mask of confidence, because it's the easiest thing in the world to do. Pretend. And then you grow into it, and then you get to be a 50-year-old man and realise that you genuinely don't give a shit anymore what anyone thinks.
Do you think that mask of confidence, because I can relate to that, I wore a mask as well, do you think that helped or hindered you? Because I felt like that hindered me, because I wore the mask so well, I didn't know what was underneath it.
There's different masks. I mean, when I used to play in bands, my guitar was my shield, because I didn't sing, I didn't engage with the audience beyond shouting at whoever was tumbling around in front of me. So I had my guitar between me and everyone.
It's your protector.
And then it's how you are. It's like, we don't have a lot of people around the house, not even family. It's like, that's our place. So you finish work, you take it off, and that's it. Because I don't have to be like that with anyone at home. I'm normally delighted to be around my kid, and I love being around my family. And it's where I'm happiest. So I've never had a problem with that. But we all still do it. I all still do it. Like, being on this is great. It's a performance, because I don't talk with these rhythms that much in real life. I can't help it. You go into a thing like when I'm doing a workshop, or when I'm on set, or everything. We all have masks, and they're all there because you don't give your full self to everyone ever. I'm sorry, I don't. No, I'm sure other people's mileage may vary, but you want to be. I guess you don't want to be the person that makes everyone like you, because that's impossible, and it's pointless, and
it's focused on being liked.
And it leads to beige.
Yeah, exactly.
But you do want to be the person that gets the thing done that's in front of you. So whereas in real life, I'm constantly second guessing. I have terrible problems with anxiety. I've had problems with depression since I was a 13-year-old. That's when I was first diagnosed. But get me on a film set. Always up. Never stressed. Never flapping. Always there. Just everything's cool. And that's the type of mask as well. Because all you do is go, I can't use the other shit right now. I can't use it, because if you're the director and you're on set and you're like, oh God, this is terrible, and you're fretting and you're screaming, everyone sucks. You suck the life out of a production. So you can only give the part of you that gets the job done that's in front of you.
How do you overcome, so in the past and currently you've had tendencies to experience anxiety, depression, different kind of mental illnesses that we can all relate to. How do you move past the fear, because that governs those, doesn't it? It's centered around fear and doubt, to go on set and to push all that doubt away and to be strong, and because I've worked with you on set and you are very calm and relaxed. I cannot tell that there's anything else going on underneath, even though
But there isn't when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think I'm given to catastrophizing things when I get anxious, and I'm very bad for it. Everything's worst case scenario. Like I'm setting myself up for that so that I can handle it when it happens. And I do that with everything. And sometimes to the point of not being able to function terrible, because you get like target fixation. And to give an idea of it, I used to ride motorbikes, and we're on a lesson one day. We spoke to the instructor via an earpiece, and going round and round about, we're going to go straight across. I come around to here, and then I start heading for the curb and the fence and the lamppost. And the worst case scenario is that I hit that like that. Then I focus on that. Then I can't steer away from that. And I'm aiming for that, and I'm going to hit it. And it was just the instructor going, "Hayden, try the handlebars." That's what he said to me. Oh. So you
shifted your focus.
Yeah, but you get focused on the most negative thing, and that drags you towards it. Yeah, and people die of that every year on bikes and cars and everything else.
And in depression.
You can't help it.
Right. Depression's exactly the same.
And you will aim for it.
Yeah.
If I'm working very hard, I don't have time for it. It depends what I'm working on. You know, if I'm just digging holes in the garden, that doesn't help me at all. But it's all about situation. I do things I shouldn't. Because I remember it was about a year or two ago, I tried meds. Can't take them. Can't work. There's no edge left. And because I need some of that pressure to function.
So it flattened you?
I need it. I have to have pressure. Without pressure, I won't do anything. I know myself too well. I will just sit on my ass and wait for the pressure to build. I can't function without that.
It's the leverage, isn't it?
Yeah.
People talk about that a lot, that when you've got when the leverage, when the risk of staying the same is greater than the risk of change, that's when things start to move.
Exactly. And I need that. So I did do things you're not supposed to do, like drink. But I did find that, because I don't drink a lot as a rule. If you average it out over a year, it's probably a pint a week, every week and a half. But when things are bad, it's like, I'll go through a few weeks in the evenings, 2, 3, 4 beers, and then you can, because it numbs you, and then and I remember my doctor going, "That's not the way." I said, "Yeah, but it worked."
Temporarily.
Yeah, but temporary is fine. Because temporary can sometimes be enough. Yeah. I'm not looking for permanent solutions to things that I've lived with for 40 years. I'm sometimes you just need something to get you over it, and that's what I chose. But then it's a trap. Because when I was younger, I used to mess around with drugs, and I tried, was it temazepam? Not temazepam, some kind of Valium, because my old man had loads of them. So I found that if you take one, you get sleepy. If you take 4, you just have a really good night. But I remember after about a month or two of doing it, I thought, I can't do it. This is getting permanent. So it's knowing that you can do things that are temporary, won't hurt you. For example, having a couple of beers a night for 3 weeks, it's not going to kill anyone. Well, unless you've got them. This is not medical advice. Your liver may vary. But you do what you've got to do to get on.
And I guess we do that with chocolate. We do that with distracting by watching a film. We do that with, we're changing our state.
I do it with all the bad things.
Yeah, but we're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of using things outside of us to change our state.
Of course, and it's but again, I think a lot of the times, there's this terrible, for me, what we've done today is oversharing, because I don't do this, but, people overshare dramatically, but then they get the reward for oversharing from the compassion from people who probably don't really care that much. And then I watch those vicious circles, which are easily as dangerous as having a few drinks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just keeps you trapped in that cycle.
Rewards negativity, and I've certainly noticed that. Like, the more work that I've done on my mindset, the more positive I've become. I feel like sometimes, depending on who it is, not always, because I've got such an amazing, empowering community, but certain people rewarded me more when things were going bad than when things were going good, because I think it highlights to them the comparison on their life.
There are always people in life that don't want you to do well.
Yeah, of course.
And I've had people like that in my life and cut them out.
Yeah.
They're sometimes really good friends, seemingly really good friends, and then you start to have a thing. You actually, no, they just want to keep me down. You can't do that. You share that. You're
Caged by their own insecurities, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Cut them out. You have to be able to walk away from anyone. I think, I was having this chat, I think it was my brother. He's not as bad as me for being able to just disassociate from everything. I said, I think it's only my son I couldn't cut out of my life. There's people I wouldn't, but there's people I couldn't, and my son is the one I could not. I could not conceive of a world without him. But everyone, you have to be prepared that if people are being so negative that it affects you, it's not your job to fix them.
No.
And they're not your responsibility. And even though it hurts, you've just got to walk away. You've just got to say, do you know what, I can't. We only have so much bandwidth. And it uses so much to do cool stuff. But it's easier to piss it away on the negative stuff. It really, really, really is. And sometimes you just got to switch off. I do it sometimes with social media. I was going to do it recently, but I can't because of Cara being released. Sometimes you just got to off. That's it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all, and I don't want to know about the world. And not being horrible, I don't really give a shit who's dying 3,000 miles away right now. Because a lot of the fake empathy for that drives me insane. It drives me insane. But why not? Why them and not them? And and I you can't argue about it because it turns into whataboutery. But there's too much of people going for the simplest possible explanation for everything, and then drawing a battle line. And the minute there's a battle line, that's when I get wound up, and because I step over it. I have to, even if I agree with them. I can't resist. I cannot resist someone going, just putting a stupid demarcation in thought or deed. Right, no, that's it. It's like, fuck you, it's not there.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they'll always do it. For the guilt by association thing. Any rule they impose on me that I think is just
who's they?
Morning. People I converse with.
Okay.
I don't have a specific they. But just people I converse with, and you see things on politics, they draw a line. I'm Labour or I'm Tory, and because I'm Labour, if you're Tory, you're shit.
Okay, so it's labelling.
I don't vote for any of them. But I won't be told. I hate being told that I have to pick an absolute team, because humans aren't, in my experience, don't work very well like that. That's how you end up with totalitarianism and just shit people. I hate the rules. I hate being told I should dislike J.K. Rowling based on their interpretation of what she said. No, how you feel is your problem. I don't read Harry Potter books. When I have spoke to her, she seemed very nice. That's it.
I loved the Harry Potter books.
Yeah, I haven't read. I'm a bit older.
No excuse.
I remember
whack him out.
My dad. I might have to give him a go, but with my dad, it was I was a problem child.
Do you think you're a problem adult?
Yeah.
That identity has stayed with you.
I'm very difficult. I'm very awkward. I know I am. My wife knows I am. I'm odd and difficult, but that's cool because it's who I am. I'm not going to change. I can't.
It's part of who you are.
I can't change it.
Part of who you are.
Yeah, and I can't.
How much do you think our identity plays a role in the way that we behave and act in society?
We all choose a tribe. We love a tribe. I chose the heavy metal thing. And back when I was in it, everyone looked the same. I had hair, long hair, and you wore a leather jacket and you wore tight jeans, band t-shirt, preferably Iron Maiden or Megadeth, just band t-shirts. And you belong to that community, and you do find yourself becoming like the other people in that community. It's impossible to identify where you are. I mean, I've spoken about this with my brother since my dad passed. I've thought a lot more about my upbringing because I never used to think about it, and I can see what probably shaped me negatively and positively. And you see things like, no, a kid shouldn't have gone through that. A kid shouldn't have dealt with that. But I didn't. Perhaps that's why I am. And I was having a discussion with my mother, who's also quite hard-headed. But at one point, she was telling me about the health and well-being of people I don't know. I said, Mum, I don't care. I just don't care about Auntie Sylvia. You know, I don't care. She said, oh, you can be very cold. I went, and then I felt so bad because I'm only what you made me. I'm only what you made me. And when you look back, yeah, I think you're formed by every experience. But I don't think you can blame them. I think you can just acknowledge that, okay, that made me like that, and I might need to moderate that part of my character. And I think
Well, change is hard, isn't it? Change is so
it is,
difficult.
but I think you need a motivator.
Yeah.
Change for the sake of change is pointless and impossible, because then it becomes a vanity project.
What if people want to change? Because I have people around me who I love dearly, and they want to change, but they feel like the environment around them stops them from changing.
Everyone's different how they deal with it. You change your environment.
Yeah.
Because everyone talks about changing the world. I'd love to change the world. You know, and I'm an online activist. I change the world. The only changes you can really affect, I think, are your immediate.
Yeah, and the ones within
world,
you.
And you hope that has a knock-on effect.
We end up spending so much time trying to change the people around us, and they will only change if we change.
Yeah, and usually...
If you keep behaving the same and doing the same things to the people around you, they're going to keep doing the same back.
But if you're with people you feel like you want to change, you shouldn't be around.
Well, I'm specifically talking about people with children. Because I get that with my sister all the time. She's like, my kids are doing this, my kids are doing that.
Yeah, I'm not a big... I remember I was talking to...
And I'm like, why don't you change how you're responding to it? But she's tired. And
but people with kids are a pain in the arse.
I mean, it's tough. It's
but
tough. I watch her and I'm like, wow.
It's not that tough, though. Because you've got a great motivator.
You do.
To do it. I mean, my kid, he had a lot of health problems when he was new. But you don't care. You just... It doesn't matter. But one of the things is when you're going to have a kid, everyone wants to tell you everything and how to do it and how to do this and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. And I always remember there's a friend of mine, he dropped me a line to say, my wife's pregnant. So I rang him up, like, congratulations, I'm really, really happy for you. I said, is everyone already phoning you with advice? He went, oh, you're the driver. I said, can I give you some advice? I remember he was like, oh, Jesus, no, because he probably thought I was going to talk about nappies or... And I said, because he's a decent guy and he's an intelligent guy. I said, whatever you think's right is right. Just crack on. Just like most things in life, just do what you think's right, and just go. Don't let everyone tell you how to do it. I mean, being a film director, I couldn't tell someone how to be a film director because there's no way of telling someone, right, what you are is the manager and the enabler and the manipulator, but ideally in a positive way. You are solely there to bring out the best in everyone around you. And have your egotistical vision adhered to.
How do you think people can move past that doubt? So obviously within your career as a filmmaker, I imagine there's been significant times where that doubt has been really strong. How do you find the courage to lean into that fear and to do the things necessary for your family or necessary for your passion to create Cara, to create the next film on Cool Jack? How do you do that?
Once you're in it, you're in it. Once you've committed, it's happening.
Interesting. So in terms of commitment, is that something that you like to do outwardly? Tell people you're doing it and then that's a commitment?
No, it happens with me first.
Great.
It happens, it's a decision for me first, that this is what I'm going to do. But sometimes, like I say, with Cara, it's something I wanted to do for a long time, and then Ken said, yeah, we'll do that. Right, okay, let's do it. You've committed, but between the two of you.
So there's an element of commitment. There's an element, you spoke earlier, of focus, of not giving a crap what other people think.
This is the hardest part, because let's say when you're writing, which is the loneliest part, because it's just you. Even on Uncle Jack, Ken wrote the original short story and I turned it into a short film, and then I wrote the feature film. You're still on your own. And so let's say like the new one that I'm writing now, not Uncle Jack, that's done. I'm writing a new one. And it's very different to Cara and Uncle Jack. So you have to spend weeks just thinking. That's what I do. I spend weeks inside my own head, turning down idea after idea because they're never good enough. It's not this enough. It's not that enough. You set your own rules and then you drive yourself crazy. And then you start. And then as you're writing, you go, this isn't good enough. That's terrible. That's a really bad. And you keep going. Because you know that the imposter syndrome and everything else is just there. It's not unique. Everyone I've spoken to has it to some degree or another. And you got to keep going. And you go, this is a terrible idea. It's just keep going. It's not a terrible idea. It's fine. The idea is good. And you have arguments. So I go through 2 phases in making films when I go to bed at night. During the writing, I have endless fights with myself. It's horrible. It's constant. No, it's fine. No, it's shit. No, it's get rid of that. You
got the inner critic on one shoulder, and the compassionate guy,
and the other critic on the other shoulder. And that's a fight. And then when that's all done, and I have the affirmation of others that it's all right. Yeah, we'll go.
And how much do you need that affirmation from others?
Well, I need it from the people that matter.
Okay.
I need it from the people that matter. People I'm going to be working with.
Yeah.
People who I want to bring on board to make them a part of my world for this, because you have to, especially on the lower budget end, people have to buy in.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing. And it's not like you're being a David Koresh cult leader, but you do sell them the project and then embrace them and bring them in, and then they take an ownership to it.
So the people who can greenlight the project.
Not only greenlight it, be in it.
Yeah.
Work on it. I don't need them to kiss my ass and tell me anything's brilliant. In fact, that's the surefirest way of losing all respect I have for someone. But if it's like when they go, no, I like that. Or I'm not sure. But yeah, in general, like that to me, it's gold. That it's not hollow affirmation. It's affirmation of people you respect and who will be involved.
Yeah, I love that.
In
so
your
already
project.
You're thinking of it as like a collaboration.
From the minute I start. I always have people in mind when I'm writing. May never talk to them, but I always have people in mind. And you have to start thinking about it, because it is a collaboration. It's an art form that has very expensive easels and brushes, and requires you hire people to hold them for you.
I love how you said that during that writing process, you have to get through that stage of those demons on your shoulders
Unstoppable.
And the inner critic. And I think just you saying that right now kind of allows us as an audience, and me talking to you right now, it's okay that we have that.
Of course it
during
is.
these times of, it's okay that we doubt ourselves. It's okay that we struggle with insecurity. It's okay. It's just not letting those voices take over.
Yeah, I believe if you were working on a script and you had no doubts or anything else, I pretty much guarantee that's a shit script.
But some people, I think that people like you who create films
Blitz through it.
Yeah, I think they think, oh, he's got no.
Do you know
doubt.
why? Because people don't like to talk about, because you know that in the real world there's far harder jobs. Motorways, digging holes, burying people, fighting in wars. There's far harder jobs. And also, I think when you're writing something, you have to put yourself in so many different places and do so many things that it is difficult, but you don't want to stand there going, oh God, you don't know how I suffer. Oh my word. Because it's not like that. It's just part of it. And the more you immerse yourself in it, the worse that gets. But I do honestly believe that anyone that's sat there going, oh, this is so great. This is so great. I'm the best. It'll be shite. I mean, come on. You've got to have self-doubt. It's part of the thing that drives you to be better. Because it's the weird thing with Cara.
It can be quite destructive though, can't it? When you take self-doubt out to, like, it's great that you use it to fuel you and to make yourself better. But also, I know that in the past, I've had such bad self-doubt that it stopped me.
Oh yeah, it is something that has to be
balanced
and measured. It's fine to check you're working out. It's fine to see if you were right. It's fine to be wrong. It's fine to fail 9 times out of 10. That's the thing you've got to learn, because it is failure.
Is learning.
I think it was a song by the Wild Hearts he's just released. I think it's "Failure is the Mother of Success."
Absolutely.
And it 100% is. It's a great song. It takes you through that journey. It's brilliant. And it really is. You fail. You don't stop.
But we're taught that failure is bad.
Of course we are, because how dare you fail? But you know, the people that tell you failure is bad are the ones that won't try.
Yeah.
Every time. They'll tell you how you should have done it, but they'll never do it. And that's a universal truth. Your loudest critics will be people that can't do what you can do. They may do other things far better than you. You know, it's like, that's why with film criticism, I take some of them with a pinch of salt. I take most of it with a pinch of salt because, yeah, but at least I'm doing it. I'm doing it. My film didn't resonate with you. I'm sorry. I didn't have you in mind when I wrote it. But you know what? It's doing all right. People are happy. And you know, if everyone hated it, if I was still convinced that's the film I should have made, what's my art? You don't make art for other. If you do, you're making content, which is a very different thing. I would argue that a lot of the big Marvel films, they're still cinema. I don't mind what Francis Ford Coppola, or whoever it was, said about him. Was it him, or I just blamed him unnecessarily?
I don't know.
I think I blamed him unnecessarily. It was somebody else. Why, I can see his bloody face. The guy just getting old.
Don't worry. We can edit that out.
Director of Taxi Driver. You know what I'm talking. He said it's not cinema. It is cinema. It's just a different cinema. It's content. It's made to make, just to make.
And all
money.
art is subjective, isn't it?
Of course it is. And so I don't worry. I'm doing it while I'm allowed to do it.
So it's just taking the action.
Yeah.
Just
do
put
it.
one foot in front of the other and just do it.
Well, you do get asked, like, how can I make my film? I don't know. But you've probably got to make a start. I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and you know, you speak to people and they'll go, yeah, I can't do my first film until I can raise 1.5 million for it. Well, that's just cool. So you're never going to make a film.
And this is the thing, like, as we were talking today about the podcast, if I waited for the right studio, looking amazing, for the best cameras, we've already had to stop once because the cameras lost memory. If I waited for it to be perfect, I would never get it done, and it's just
for some
starting.
people, that's a fear of success.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that. For most of them, it's
Why do
just...
people fear success?
It's a very common fear, especially in business.
Yeah.
It can be a massive obstacle because success brings additional responsibility and additional effort and additional work.
And do you think it's an element of, when you're successful, that judgment from others? You know what we were talking about earlier? That when you are doing well, when you are doing really great...
Oh, people are even more pissed off at you, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's an element of that.
The most assuredly is. It's a very natural thing, but I think also people just put obstacles in the way of having to do something. Because once you commit to it and once you do it, you've run it out there.
Yeah, and it takes energy and time and resilience
and it might not
and
happen.
patience. And you might fail. So there's all these things that could potentially go wrong, which we don't see as going wrong. We just do them anyway.
Oh no, I still see them as going wrong, and it's still punishing and horrible.
I see it as learning now.
Well, yeah, I
no
live
wrong,
in the
is there?
moment.
There's
It's awful. It's the worst thing in the world. But then dust yourself down and go again.
And what did you learn from it? What can you take forward?
Or just do the same thing again and fail again. It was like most of us do a lot of the time anyway. You know, you only learn a lesson when it becomes too painful not to learn it anymore.
I love that. But the thing is, if you don't change your strategy, you're never going to get a different response.
No,
but sometimes we'll make the same
Of
mistake
course
over and over again.
There'll be something in everyone's life where it's like, oh yeah, I do. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Right. It's like me keeping asking my son to tidy his room without any consequences if he doesn't, you know.
Or he doesn't care about the consequences.
So it's this vicious circle, but he's been very clever. I'll go, yeah. He said, right, and he tidied it and he sent me a picture. Is this okay? I went, that's okay. Then today I thought, I'll just have a look into it. Clever. But he's just taken the angle that makes it look like, so I can't even be angry. Because he's just like gone, oh,
he's not outside the box.
But the funny thing with film, even when you get there and you've made your film and it's gone out, you still got the worries about, will it make money? I've got to make money. You've got to bring money in. Like, you know, we're doing workshops and things, which I do genuinely enjoy. I really like them, but it's still, you're doing it because you've got to bring funds in and all that. And people say, oh, you got your film out. How does it feel? I don't know. Well, you must be proud. No. Satisfied? No, not even. It's strange. No. There's a certain thing like, did, but now it's like, I've got to do better. It's got to be a bit better because it wasn't quite right and this wasn't right. And I don't know how you genuinely, it's not so, I don't know what you're supposed to get out of it. And then you start thinking about joy. Do you ever really experience a lot of joy?
So many people do not celebrate when they get that win, do they?
No, and I don't. I just downplay it because it might not be right, or it might have backfired, or who might take that, and you do it.
So there's an element of, I don't want to celebrate, or I can't celebrate because then I'm not prepared in case something's gone wrong.
It flops. Yeah. But also it's just a part
So it's to avoid disappointment. So there's an element of a fear of being disappointed.
Well, that thing is my focus just switched to making the next one.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I want to make another film. I want it to have as much impact or more impact. I want to be better. I want the script to be better. I want it to look better. I want to work with my actors in a better way.
Do you think part of the human experience is that we all yearn for that growth and for moving forward?
Yeah, but that's all I can do. I don't see, that seems to be, I'm learning that that's my reward. It's nothing that comes off the back of that, because I don't enjoy. Like
and we always chase it though, don't we?
Yeah.
Like every actor is like, as soon as I get that TV gig,
I'm not
as soon
quite...
as I get that. I mean, I personally used to be this way. I used to be like, as soon as I get that TV gig, as soon as I get that film role, but it never gave me what I thought it was going to give me.
Well,
and I found out it's that learning and that growth that appears over a span of time. That is the thing that gives me my reward.
That's your reward. I remember talking at a workshop. I think I was just on my own with all the actors. I said, so what is it you want to do? And he's like, I want the big advert, I want the part in the soap, I want this, I want that. Well, that's great, and I hope you get them. But because my job was to be the pissy and the vinegar for that, it was like, but you probably won't. So what sustains you? You better learn to love the craft, because that will reward you until that might happen. But statistically, you probably won't. And I'm not being horrible saying that. Statistically, none of my films will ever be a hit. Statistically, someone else will get that advert. It doesn't mean you won't have success. You just might not get it on the terms that you're agreeing to at the moment, because you're basing it on such a specific thing. I want the TV series. I want the advert because I need the money now, especially when you're at that part of your career. But what if you just become a really great actor that works all the time and you make a living? Where's the craft? That's what's got to see you through.
Yeah.
Why do you not want to be better? If you look at guys that make the big money, even some of the superstar ones, Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, Pacino, John Malkovich, and you look at those guys, Willem Dafoe is a great example because he speaks very openly about this. It's not the money that got them through it. It wasn't that first hit film. They were already in love. But as humans, we focus on things we need now. If I got that big advert now, I could relax a bit.
It never does, because we're always chasing the next thing.
Because you got the next hit.
Until you realise.
Yeah, so with the Cara thing, the media
were saying
wars...
Then. Kind of loved what you said then about like making the art and the expression of the art and living through that, the passion. I did a visualisation on the last workshop where I was talking about when actors first knew that they wanted to be an actor, how they felt when they got really inspired, like what was the film. Like, I remember watching Moulin Rouge, Nicole Kidman, and watching her and like, oh my God, I want to be Satine. And it was like, my whole body was just like, I loved the way that she was in that film. I adored her. I loved the way that she was expressing her emotions, everything. And then you get to the place where you receive judgment and you become obsessed with auditions and getting the role and doing well in the audition room, and all of a sudden it compromises that love and that creativity and that joy that you had when you were a child. And I did a visualization with the guys on the call about reawakening that and imagining that they're on a stage but no one's judging, they're just freedom, expression, creativity all coming out, and everybody in that visualization was smiling.
Yeah,
like,
of
they
course.
Were all smiling.
But when I work with actors, as you know how I do auditions, is I know you can act. Let me learn a bit about you. If it's that you think you want to be a celebrity, I mean, great, go. I hope it pans out. I hope you make millions.
I mean, I wouldn't do acting. I would try social media or something.
Yeah, but
try anything but acting. Acting's too difficult to get.
They want to be a Denzel. They want to be the superstar. Great, whatever. Tricky. There's a lot of things in your way, but okay. And also when certain actors, I want to be that particular type of actor. I want to be an action star. I want to be this. okay, boring, but yeah, whatever, your life. But when I speak to them, I know they just love it. They just love and you can see it. They don't have to tell me. I don't ask them, do you love acting? Because it's a stupid question.
Just
but,
oozes out of
Elle's audition.
Yeah.
It was there. You could see she'd put so much. In fact, everyone that got a part in the film, they just put it in, and you can tell it's just because they love it. Because it certainly wasn't for the money, but they love it. And
I think that's why it's so painful when you don't get those roles. And
yes,
I think sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we shouldn't attach ourselves to the pain, because that's not necessary. But what does that pain represent? It just represents that we love it, and that's our passion. And that's the thing that we need to kind of lean into, whether that's creating our own work or finding another arena to showcase our artistic creativity. Like, that is the thing, that's the most important thing.
And it doesn't make it any better, but it's not comparable, so I'm not playing 11 a reef. But when you got to make that phone call and go, we've gone another way.
Yeah.
That's really shitty as well. Because chances are, if I brought someone to audition in person, I like them.
They're amazing, yeah, exactly.
And it can be the strangest of things that makes you go, one person or another. Everyone's different. I don't know how anyone else works. I don't listen to directors talking about casting. I don't listen to directors talking about directing very much, but because no one ever does. They don't. They talk about working with the actors because directing is a weird, non-central thing. But there can be the strangest thing that makes you just go with that person. It might be a gut feeling. It doesn't mean you like them more than the other person. It doesn't mean that you want to be the friend. It doesn't mean that they're better. It doesn't mean that when I cast my first film on scene, that's my second, but it came out first. It was between two guys in the end. One was technically the better actor. He was a better, more experienced, seasoned actor. But the guy that got it, there was a truth and an honesty there that I really liked. So I went with him. And then the reason it was going to be my first film, his mum passed. So he said, I'm not doing it. And for some reason, I said, let's not recast yet. So we went and did Elbows. Then we came back. I think this is how it worked. I could be wrong. But I know we waited. And then he got in touch and he said, is it still, I think I would like to act after all. I said, great. You just saved me a lot of trouble. Because I'd have to go back to the other guy who knew he got second prize. And Stephen, I really enjoyed working. I still, every once in a while we drop a little message. Because the hard part is, you work with all these actors and they're great. But you can't work with them every time. And you're chatting socially and going, I've got a new thing coming up. And you know it's there. Is there a part for me? And you think, no. Sometimes you'll say, yep, follow the auditions, because I do that with everybody. I don't. It's very rare I'll go, them. It's not that rare, as I've done it a few times. I'm lying through my teeth like the dirty liar I am, because I wrote the part in Cara for you. You won the part in Uncle Jack with the short. James Dreyfus, I just put him in wherever I can, so I love working with him. Lawrence Harvey was one of those.
So what would you, I suppose, as we near the end of this discussion, if you have got some advice to not just creatives but anyone in terms of removing doubt, lean into the unknown, lean into your passion, what would be your advice?
Stop worrying about fighting these things. Stop worrying about fighting, because you can't beat yourself. And if there's anyone in the world you've got to be honest with yourself, it is yourself. You have to understand that you are never going to have the perfect life. You're never going to have the perfect brain. Some brains are slightly better than others in terms of function, but we're all going to have things that are just ours. And I've learned over, let's say, 40 years, it's near enough 40 years since my first diagnosis, there's certain aspects of my brain that I will not beat. I won't. So I have to exist alongside them. And then you figure out your coping strategies. Knowing through just over time, learning. It's like a partnership in a way. What's going to trigger? How bad's it going to be? What can I do? Can I work through this? Or do I just need to disengage for a couple of days? Do I have to go and be weird for a bit? What do I have to do? And learn those things, because there will always be times where you're like, actually, do you know what? I think I'm actually just a bit sad. So it's fine.
It's okay.
Just crack on. There's other times like, actually, do you know what? I need to just be away from everyone for a day or two.
Change your environment.
And there's certain things you can't change if you've got your family, your kids, your job. You've got to do them. So you have to make the best use of the time you're not around things you have to be around for. And then disengage from everything negative, everything bad, and just deal. And sometimes go to the doctors if it's that bad. Sometimes take the pills if it's that bad. You've not lost. You've not failed in your battle.
But what about...
You're just getting over the next thing. But the most important thing, just keep pushing forward. Don't ever stop. Because the minute you settle into that, oh, woe is me, you start drawing up a list of bastards that done you wrong and blaming everything for everything that's gone wrong in your life. No, it's not your fault. It's that person, or it's my mental health, or it's this. And at the end of it, the hard, uncomfortable reality is you just got to keep going.
So you're talking about accountability there as well.
You've got to own it. You've got to own it and go on. Most things that we blame other people for are our fault. We enabled them anyway. Not all. There are some genuinely horrible fucking people in the world that do horrible, horrible things. That's a whole other set of things.
But you give the control away when you're not accountable.
But even if you didn't understand it when it happened, because we know how people are manipulative, you can deal with it afterwards. Once you take that step of going, I'm done. You might way overshoot at first. And that's another thing. It's fine. Overshoot, overcompensate massively, crash and burn. Do whatever you've got to do. Be there for those that need you. Be there for yourself when you can. And just accept that we're all a bit broken and it's fine, and deal with how broken you are. And just use what you've got to use, because there ain't no perfect life.
There ain't no perfect person.
No.
Absolutely
Except me.
Well, thank you so much.
No, it's been my pleasure. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been really, really great to hear from you.
Go and watch Cara.
Yes, absolutely. So Hayden, actually, pitch what's next for you before we leave?
Next up, I'm pretty sure is going to be Uncle Jack, which is not a horror film. It's a very powerful drama that deals with love, loss, dementia, paedophile hunting gangs, and online culture and misinformation, all in a big pot that's apparently very upsetting. So that's good.
It is. I've read it.
Another feel-good movie.
It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great.
I can't wait.
And everybody out there, definitely have a little watch of Cara. It's available on most streaming sites, Amazon.
If you're over 18.
And
not currently experiencing terrible mental malfunction.
Yeah.
Then it's probably not good, but everyone else, Amazon, Apple TV, Rakuten in the UK, Spectrum in the US. It's to rent or buy. It's really cheap, and it's coming out everywhere else throughout the year.
One last one.
Tara Tomlinson, isn't it?
She's been withdrawing again.
Okay.
And the episodes of maladaptive daydreaming are becoming more frequent. And then she suddenly said she wasn't going back to the hospital.
I'm not going back there.
Where?
The hospital? Did you mention the hospital?
I didn't mention the hospital.
They're getting ready, John.
I know. You need a lot of luck to go your way.
Booking an hotel this weekend.
Why are you telling me?
Doing it for us.
What?
Oh, Jesus Christ, it is really starting to stink in there.
Why don't you stay here?
That's not a good idea.
They're gonna lock you up again, aren't they?
Car?
What's wrong?
You need a plan B.
What have you done?
Did you think I'd let any of you get away with it?
amazing. Thank you so much, Hayden.
Thank you.